Hey guys, welcome to the All Things Running podcast. It's your host Jacob here, and today we have a really exciting guest. Today I sat down and talked with Lauren Hurley, who trains under Rick Rojas and his group in Colorado. She has a very inspiring story, being a mother, full-time employee for a coaching company, and also training at a professional level and pursuing some big goals in the future. So stay tuned, listen in. This is a good one, guys. And if you enjoyed, as always, rate the podcast. Let Spotify know that you're liking what you're listening to, and share it around with your friends and family and those who are a fan of the sport. So, again, hope you enjoy, and stay tuned for more episodes to come. Hey, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi, welcome onto the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Hang on, does it
Um,
work? There we go.
yeah, I
How are
can see
you?
you now. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. I've been pretty excited about this one. You're my first professional athlete I've talked to on the podcast, so pretty cool. And yeah, let's just get started. First of all, I just wanted to run down your background to the audience so everyone kind of knows who I'm talking to right now if they don't already know. Um, so looking back at your history, you started out kind of as a triathlete at Clemson University. 2009, you did your first race in South Carolina.
Yep.
Um, and the year following that, you started your career in the triathlon scene. And for 10 years, starting from 2010, you won 11 70.3s.
Yep.
Uh, the New York City Tri, escaped from Alcatraz, Beijing Triathlon, and St. Anthony's. So it sounded to me like you had a pretty illustrious triathlon career. And then COVID happened and you had your baby.
Yep.
Um, so kind of everything went on the back burner there for a little bit. And then you came back strong in 2021 on July 4th with a 32:54 10K. And then not too long after that in 2022, you did the Sound Running 10K and dropped your PR by like a minute and 5 seconds. You ran 31:49 to qualify for the Olympic trials. And I think it was the same night as Grant Fisher's American record and
Yep.
Mohamed's Canadian record, and also Elise Cranny running 30:14, almost getting the American record on the women's side. So that must have been really cool to see. Were you there watching that, or were you kind of busy cooling down or whatever?
I was there watching it. But it was it was a shame because they had these lights on the track that were pacing you kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me at the time, I was going for 31:45. Um because that was the world standard. And at least, obviously was going for 30:13, I think. But anyways,
Yeah.
the lights in both races were off. So we
Yeah.
like both beat the lights, but we didn't
Mm,
get the time.
man, I do
So
remember watching that and them talking about how the lights were off. That is seriously
yeah.
unfortunate. I'm sure you were pretty annoyed with the technology after that race.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I was annoyed, but it's up to you to also like know where you're at, you know what I mean?
Mm,
So,
mm.
anyways, that was my first time using those lights, and it was interesting.
Yeah,
But, yeah, I was
you
there and I watched them race, and it was awesome.
man, that's so cool. You ran that race awesome too. I mean, I watched it. And you just kind of went out from the front the whole race, or most of it, I think, from my recollection. And yeah, it was cool to watch. You just kind of
Yeah.
tanked through it, just powering through. Um, and then obviously the more recent thing was the 15:16 you ran on the in Pennsylvania at the PTC Night at the Island, which I
Yep.
was there to witness, and the PA state record. So that was awesome to see. You cashed in $20,000 from Pittsburgh Track Club through Eurocyclics, and you also ran a 4:45 in the mile to win the women's mile. Like not long after that, which was pretty crazy. I remember seeing you on the track. I was like, wait, she ran like an hour ago.
No, it
Um,
was 10 minutes.
it was 10 minutes. I knew it was short. It was
Yeah.
probably shorter than an hour. That
It
was
was just
crazy.
the only thing it was the women's 5,000, and then was the men's mile, and then it was the women. So I had them one
Okay.
heat of the men's mile before.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, that time's not very fast. Like, but I just wanted to do it more so because well, there's money. And so I was like, oh, I might as well try to get the money. But also, I don't have much track experience. I've only done one, two. 5 races on a track ever in my life. So,
Hmm.
if there was another mile there, of course I was going to jump in. So,
Yeah, when I was looking at your World Athletics profile, there was like 5 races on it.
yeah,
uh,
exactly. I don't
yeah,
have many. I didn't run in high school or college, so the track's all really new to me. So learning.
yeah, I figured that was the case just because when I was trying to do some research on you, I couldn't find anything earlier than like Clemson University starting the triathlon. So it's a
Yeah.
very interesting, and I think it's cool talking to you because you come from a background that's a lot different than I think a lot of the professional runners nowadays. A lot of them come
Mhm.
from pretty deep backgrounds in the running scene. And so I actually wanted to get into that later. But for now, I think now that I've given a background to the audience, I just want to talk about that night at the island race for you. I know Molly Graybill paced you a little bit on that. What was that experience like? Um, how did you feel going into it? Did you kind of think you had a shot? Yeah, take me through it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first, there's I want to. Okay, Molly is my teammate, and to do this race, you had to basically, there was $20,000 up if you got the soil record, and either the 5,000 or the mile. And the way they did this was they had an insurance company um place a bet on these races, just like you would in like a horse race or a race car race or whatever, golf. And so basically they paid $1,500 per event, and the insurance company bet that nobody would do it, right? So it was because I didn't understand. I'm like, how could you have 20 grand for 4 events? Like, where are you guys getting this money from? And then they told me, so they actually put 6 grand in and then had this in policy.
Mm,
And but there were rules, like you couldn't have a pacer, and you also could not have run that time before in your life, right?
mm,
So for me, the time was 15:17. So my best time could not be faster than 15:17.
mm,
And you had to be an American. So all of a sudden it rules out a lot of people,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's a very small amount of people that could actually run 15:16
mm,
solo
mm,
and never run that time before.
mm,
Because so you basically were trying to PR in a solo race.
yeah,
So that if you say that to anybody who runs track and field, that's impossible. Like
mm,
you run your best times at a fast race, right? Where there's a big
mm,
group, there's a lot of people and you're sprinting at the end, like you're going for the, like so it just wasn't ideal. But for me, like I literally was probably the only person that I know of that could do this. I mean, because I haven't raced enough to have times, but also I knew what I was capable of from training. So I knew I could do it. But anyway, so my teammate signs up last minute and I'm like, are you kidding? Like you're gonna go? Like, and I was so mad because I got injured in March and I couldn't run for 4 weeks.
mm,
So I took off mid-March through mid-April of no running. All I did was swim, and
mm,
maintain my aerobic base there. And my teammate Molly was crushing it. She PR'd in the mile, she PR'd in the 5K, she PR'd in the 10K. She ran at nationals, the USA's, and I was just like, oh, she's gonna beat me. So her PR going into this race was like 15:20 something, 15:29
mm,
or something. So it was gonna be a big, you know, it was gonna be hard for her to get the time. Anyways, we got to the race and we're like, look, we can't leave this money on the table. Somebody's gotta take it. And we're like, if we just race each other head to head, nobody's gonna get it because we're gonna race each other and not get the time, kind of miss out
mm,
on that time, right? Like nobody's gonna want to lead. Like,
yeah,
and so we're like, why don't we just alternate 800s and last person standing wins? So there was no pacing like
mm,
involved in this. It was just we're gonna keep the pace. We're gonna keep the pace to get the time,
mm,
and we're just going to keep switching off, and one of us will fall off and one of us will win. But we just wanted to make sure somebody was going to get the money, right? So
yeah,
we were still racing. There was no pacing involved. Like
yeah, yeah,
both of us wanted to win that race. We just wanted to make sure we didn't go out too fast, we didn't go out too slow. So we
mm,
wanted to make sure we were on the time. Um I confidently think I could have done that race by myself without that, because it ended up Molly did the first 800 and then she fell off the pace. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she had a really bad race, and it's not because she's not fast. She had raced like 3 weekends in a row before that. Like, I knew it was gonna be hard for her to back up
Mm,
a couple 10Ks on the track she had just did awesome at, you know? So, um, anyway, so I won the money, and, you know, it was great. We ended up, splitting the money,
mm,
and, but it was such a cool opportunity. Uh, yeah, I had a great time, and then, I jumped into the mile right after it because it was there, and I just wanted to try, and the race ended up being super slow, so I was able to win. But it was such a fun weekend. I was so happy. I hope they do that race next year, you know, in some kind of format, uh, you know, whether I can participate or not, but it was awesome.
yeah, I'm sure that they would love to have you back. I mean, I know Eurus was stoked about it because I think going into it, we weren't sure if anyone had a chance at getting any of the PA state soil records. And then you came out there and got it, and it was pretty sweet to see.
And barely got
Yeah,
it.
it was close. I know we were all looking the last 100. I don't know. It's going to be really close, and you
Yeah.
got it. It was amazing. I remember there was a little bit of hesitancy when you finished. Just we weren't quite sure if you had gotten
Wasn't
it or not.
sure.
And yeah, yeah, 20,000 on that on the line there. That was awesome though. I would have hated to see you go right over it. That would have been
Oh, I know.
terrible.
Oh my God. But in the end, it was still a good time. So I was like,
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, I had a great experience there. And then last weekend I did it, or 2 weekends ago, I did another 5K at a sound running meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It
How was
was,
that? You won that as well, right? You ran was it 15:19?
I ran 15:18 and I
18.
won.
Yeah.
Um, but I got tripped at the start, so I fell. And it was,
Mm.
I really wanted to run under 15:10. So
Mm.
sounds retarded, but I was pretty disappointed. But with
Mm.
falling and like whatever, and I still won. It was pretty good. So, you know, that was my last race on the track this season.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah, that's it. Wrapped it up.
Yeah. Do you still hope to run sub 15? I mean, I think at one point that was kind of a goal of yours. Um,
For sure. I want to break
yeah.
31 and I want to break 15 minutes next year. I'm getting
Mm.
old. I'm pretty old. So like I know my window of being like fast is getting smaller, but I just started racing track, so I am
Hmm.
hoping like I
Hmm.
have a few more like seasons in me.
Absolutely. I think so.
Yeah, yeah,
You
we'll see.
mentioned how there was the month there where you were injured leading into the night at the island 5K. You said that you swam to maintain your base. Do you find that like your triathlon background has really helped you to stay fit while you're injured because you can probably do like decent workouts in the pool because you have that triathlon experience? Like, do you think that it converted over well to help you out?
Oh, definitely. I Well, I got injured because I thought it was an Achilles issue after the sound running the 10K. The 10K on the track really in spikes really messes my calves up. I mean,
Mm.
I'm old. Like the 5K I can get away with the 10, it's just brutal, dude. And
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, like I got right back into training, and but anyways, it was just my soleus got really tight and my post tib, and I thought it was my Achilles, so I took a whole month off. Um
Mm.
and but I swam. Yeah, I swam the whole time. I rode my bike a couple times. I hate riding my bike though, but you know, I do believe that any kind of endurance like type sport is going to keep your VO2 max up,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
to really lose any fitness, you got to take 2 weeks of no running completely. And so
Yeah.
I feel like I was just dipping into that. It took me about 4 workouts to get back to feeling good. Not my
Mm.
best, but it came back really quick. So yeah, I mean, I definitely
Mm.
think, especially if you're actually good at swimming or cycling, and you can actually get your heart rate up and
Hmm.
have those anaerobic type, you know, workouts, then I think you'll be fine. So it was a good lesson for me. That was the first time I've ever been injured in my whole life. Um,
Mm.
Never had an injury. So I really struggle with that mentally. Obviously, that was a hard time for me. But it was good to build confidence to know that if and when it happens in the future, I can just swim and I'm fine.
Absolutely. I mean, swimming is a great workout, aerobically speaking. I've swam before. I was like a competitive swimmer for 5 years, and I know like exactly how it is. Like, it's a great cross training method, and you can still get a really good workout. I mean, like, I don't know if you know Julie Whitaker, who was a like really good high schooler this last
Yep.
year, and she has a swimming background. I was actually listening to a podcast of her. Similar situation to where if she ever got injured, she could swim and do these big workouts in this pool to stay
Yeah.
fit. So it definitely is complementary. And I do want to talk about your like triathlon career now. And I know it's a running podcast. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I'm kind of interested in the kind of transition period you had from the triathlon to running professionally. So first of all, could you just talk to your triathlon career a little bit? Kind of how did you get into the triathlon, and when did you kind of think maybe it was time to stop?
Yep, I got into triathlon in college. I grew up as a swimmer, so that's my background. And I burnt out of swimming in high school because I was doing it way too much.
Mm,
Um, so I quit sports completely for 2 years. And then when I got to college, I started running because I was getting fat from drinking. So we had the perimeter of the school. It was 5K, and I would do it every day. And then
mm,
I would start doing it twice. And then I would start doing it 3 times. And I really fell in love with running. Um, and then I found triathlon because I got a boyfriend and he did it.
mm,
And I was like, okay, well, I know I can swim. I'm enjoying running. I was like, I'm going to get a bike. So I got a bike, got into try, joined the
mm.
club team and found out I was pretty good at it. And so then I started doing triathlons straight out of college. And I did it was called like a developmental race, like Olympic recruiting. And I was
Mm.
like, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to go do it. And I did the race and I qualified to be a pro there.
Wow. Oh my
So yeah,
gosh.
I only did like 3 races as an amateur and then I started racing professionally. Which I mean, professionally is very loose. To me now, I mean, you introduced me as a pro runner. I say you're a pro when you're making a career, a living doing it, right? When you
Mhm,
don't have to
mhm,
work. So I would
mhm.
say I'm not a pro runner, but and I wasn't a pro triathlete then. Now later on
Yeah.
in my career, I got really good at like getting sponsorships, understanding what they wanted, knowing
Mhm,
how to sell myself, knowing the races to choose.
mm,
Um, and I actually was making a lot of money doing triathlon and
mm,
I was able to buy a house. Like, I don't know, like I made a career out of it.
mm.
Um, so, fast forward, this could be like a 5-hour conversation, but we'll just jump ahead. I was getting pretty successful in triathlon. I was winning and yeah, I mean, everything was good. Um, but then I got a doping ban. And I got a doping ban for marijuana, which is
Mhm.
not performance enhancing at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I got it because I was taking edibles to sleep because I had like severe anxiety. And
Mm,
I had taken those for years and like been drug tested so many times. And like it's not that much. And I wouldn't do it before the race. So like that was
mm,
fine. But then I got like, I was starting to have like this pain on the top of my foot. So I started using this THC cream. And I
yeah,
think
I've used it
like
before. Yeah.
put me over the edge and I got a positive test and it was
Mm, mm,
life ending for me. Like
mhm,
so I didn't know what to do. Because I was like thriving in my career. It was like 1 month before World Championships. I was gonna podium there. Like I was
mhm,
on a moment. Like I was at the peak of my career and I lost every sponsor in 30 minutes from that coming out.
mm,
I uh yeah, I mean, I don't know. The direction of my life was like over. I had no idea what to do because I had been doing the sport for 10 years. Like
mm, mhm.
I never worked. I went straight from college to sport. So I had no idea like what I was going to do. So I got married. And I married my the guy I was dating at the time and I got pregnant, we had a child. And and so my to me my sporting career was over. And that
Mm.
was in September of 2019,
Okay.
not that long ago.
Mhm,
so then I had my child, and then COVID happened. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had my child in July of 2020 of COVID. And me and my husband at the time, we started a coaching company, and I started running again because I needed to like get back. I mean, I was overweight, like, like I was just had a baby. Like I was like, time to get back in shape. And I started running obsessively. Like I started running 10 miles every single day. And coming from like a place where like you were so goal focused for 10 years of your life to like getting pregnant, taking care of
Mm.
this baby, like losing your whole identity, it was really challenging for me. So that's why I set this goal for myself. Like I'll do 10 miles a day. That'll be like, oh, I'll feel validated and like accomplished if I can achieve
Mm.
that every day.
Mm-hmm.
So my partner was like, Lauren, you're running way too much. Like, you're going to get injured. Like, what are you doing? He's like, you need to hire a coach if you want to keep running like this. And he was like, why don't you hire Tom Schwartz? And I was like, who is that? And he was like, he coaches the 10-man elite guys. And I really like his philosophy for coaching. And I would really love to learn more. And he's local. And I was like, okay, this is a great idea because I'll learn from him, apply that to our own coaching business that we had just launched.
Mm-hmm.
Like learn from a guy who'd been in running a single sport, right? So it would be education. I would have guidance. And I don't know, maybe I would have a goal again. So I was like, great idea. So I go to practice. It's all the 10-man elite guys and me. And I'm just, dude, I just had a baby, right? Like I'm just like a mom. I'm wearing like Lululemon, like oversized clothes because I'm too big to fit in any of my clothes. And all these 10-man elite guys are there. And Tom has me do a 1 mile time trial in front of these people.
Oh my
Drew
gosh.
Hunter,
Oh
Sydney,
no.
Sam Parsons. And I'm like, gonna do a 1 mile time trial. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I do this 1 mile time trial. I run 4:53 off the couch, like at altitude, um, no workouts. But
Wow.
I've been running 10 miles a day for probably
Mm.
6 months at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Tom comes up to me. He's like, you are going to make the Olympic trials. And I laughed so hard. I was like, okay. I'm like, what are the times? And he told me they were 32:25 and 15:20 for 5 and 10. And I'm
Mm.
like, okay, well, my PRs are 36 minutes and 16:30. So I was like, I got a lot of work to do. And then I just, okay, I joined Tom. I started, running with him, doing the workouts. And that was in January of 2021. And so I raced in May of 2021 and I ran 32:17 at
Mm-hmm.
Portland Track Festival in the
Mm.
10,000 and I qualified for the Olympic trials. Like I did it. And I don't know how I did that still. I mean, I ran right behind Molly Seidel the whole run. And like, I was so starstruck. And again, I'm in like floppy shorts and like, I don't look the part. My first time wearing spikes. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm running in lane 2. I'm lapping my watch. Like, people are like, you're so weird. But I got the time. So then I go to Olympic trials and I suck. I led the first 5 laps. If you go watch the Olympic trials, I went out 69 and it's like 100 degrees that day. It was so hot.
Oh
I
man.
epically blew up. I think I got 15th or 16th or 17th place. I don't remember. Ran 32:25. Uh, no, 32:55. Sorry.
Mm.
Worst race of my life. I went out in like 15:53 and then I came back in like 17:01. But it was a great experience. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I was like, I don't want to race anymore. That was fun. Cool. I went to Olympic trials. I was like, but honestly, I didn't miss racing. Like I didn't miss feeling nervous or preparing. I really just liked training and I didn't really want to race anymore. And like
Mm. Mm-hmm.
that was like, so I was like, I quit. I was like, I'm done. I was like, Tom, thank you. I'm done. And he was really disappointed. But it just wasn't working with our family at the time. Like I was a mom, a new mom. Like it was really hard to like, it was fun when I was just running and going to practice and like talking about qualifying. But then when I actually did it, I was like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to race now. And I was like, I didn't want that lifestyle again that I had in triathlon. I had moved on from that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was July and I quit. And then my husband and I actually separated. So I was like, all of a sudden I needed direction again. I was like leaning on sports again. So I started running again. Um, and I did a 5K on Thanksgiving last year off 0 workouts, and I did 15:35 on the road. And I was just like a turkey trot. And I was like, okay, I got to get back into it. Damn it. And so I hired, I was like, but I don't want to go back to Tom because Tom is a great coach. But I wanted a group, and I wanted a group of women to run with, because with Tom, it was just me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
alone, and it wasn't fun. Although
Mm-hmm.
he was great, it just wasn't fun. So I joined Rick Rojas, who is the coach of Nell Rojas, in
Mm-hmm.
Boulder. And we have a great group of women who were all pretty fast, like Molly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I joined them, and I've been working with him since January. And now here we are. I got my best time in the 10K and the 5K, and now I'm kind of wrapping up my track season, and I'm going to do a marathon in December, because I wanted to run all distances this year and see what I enjoyed the most, and then focus on
Mm-hmm.
that for the next 2 years for trials. Did I want to do the marathon, or did I want to do 510? And I needed to decide. So I've kind of had a taste now of the track. So I'm going to
Yeah.
do the marathon build. And I'll do Indianapolis half marathon in November, and then I'll
Okay.
do CIM marathon in December.
Mm-hmm.
See how I do. And then that'll kind of be my direction next year if I do road racing distance or I'm back on the track.
Yeah, I saw your announcement for the marathon. I was kind of surprised because of the way you were going. It seemed like you were kind of sticking to the lower distances, but now it makes sense that you're just trying to taste a little bit of everything right now since you're kind of new to it all. So that's
Yeah,
very exciting though.
super exciting. And if you actually look back at like the best marathoners, they were really good at the 5 and the 10.
Hmm. Yeah.
So my Rick is a big believer of working from the bottom up. So like if you want to be a fast marathoner, you better be good at the 1600, the
Hmm.
5, the 10, the half, and then you're going to be a good marathoner. So
Hmm.
right now I'm kind of in this in between phase, um because A, I can't take any time off because I'm a psycho, and there's no breaks for me. And B, I don't know, like I planned this well out, like far out in advance, that I did my track season, and now I have a month kind of like of this time now until September is kind of downtime, before I need to start my build for the marathon. So we're really focusing on speed. So I did like
Hmm.
a 600-meter time trial last week. I'm doing
Yeah,
an
I saw that.
800-meter on Friday.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
the following week, I'm doing a 1 mile road race.
Hmm.
And then I'll get into the marathon build. So this kind of time, just doing this like fast 200s and short stuff on the track has been pretty fun, because this is weird. I've never done stuff like this. So I like Rick's approach
Hmm.
and working from the bottom up, and we'll see how it translates to the marathon.
Yeah, I always found his training philosophy to be pretty interesting and unique in a way because I think a lot of other coaches don't think to kind of like hit those shorter, faster speeds in a marathon block. They're always kind of thinking 10K and up in terms of the training. So that's
Exactly.
very interesting. And I did actually want to talk about your training under Rick Rojas now a little bit. Now that we kind of got onto that, um, what piqued your interest in joining his group? Did you kind of know of Rick Rojas at the time, and kind of his group, or did someone reach out to you, or?
Well, I knew Nell because Nell was a triathlete actually a long time ago, and we had raced
Mm,
against each other. And then she stopped, doing triathlon and started running, and I followed her career very closely. I was very impressed by her results because she wasn't that great. She actually was a very average runner in triathlon, and then
mm,
to watch her progress and see that was very inspirational.
mm,
And then I was pregnant while she like really was finding her rhythm and winning stuff, um and I'd run with her a few times, and I feel like she's a coach as well, and I'm a coach, and her dad's a coach, and like we can all chat and like be understand like philosophies of coaching, and I really liked his approach.
mm,
He's more of a he's not going to run you into the ground type coach. And that's what I like. So anyways, and again, I just wanted a group, and and
Hmm.
all of us in our group all work too. So like nobody's a full-time runner. We all have stuff going on. So
Hmm.
it's a, it's a blue collar kind of sub-elite running team. So that's why I joined him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's very cool. I just saw this says 10 minutes left on the meeting, so it might kick us out. Hopefully we can get this wrapped up soon. Um, so let's see, what do I want to ask next? Yeah, so I know that you have worked out with Matt recently. How much, I was just curious as to how much overlap there is between your like teammates' workouts, and like how often are you working out alone versus with other people, or are you kind of
Yep.
very involved in each other's workouts?
That's an interesting question. Because that's been a conflict with our group actually right now. Matt uh, Fox from the Sweat Elite guy, he's
Mhm.
with my coach Rick, or our coach, and he's here training for Berlin, and so we've been doing some stuff together. But now I'm kind of going to that speed block, and he's now really getting into his long run. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, we're not overlapped anymore, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But he's more overlapped now with like Nell and Molly because they're starting their
Mhm.
New York build. Um,
Okay.
so, uh, so yeah, but we don't overlap that much, and it
Mm.
sucks because we're all on
Mhm.
different schedules. And when we are aligned, we do try to, if we're always saying, "Hey, what's your workout this week?" And if it works out, we try to, connect. But we always all are at the track at the same time. So like
Okay.
we all warm up together, and then we all kind of do our own stuff. And if like a couple of my miles overlap with a couple of Nell's, then we'll jump in together, and she might do 20% of my workout with me. Like it's literally like, what's your next rep? Okay, cool. Can you pace me? Cool. Right. I pace some of the girls on my tempo stuff. It's their hard stuff. But I would say, 70% of the time I'm doing my stuff alone,
Mm.
but with Rick on deck, with the girls at practice, we're all just doing our different sessions, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So we have that
Yeah.
community and that support, but we're not always doing the same stuff together.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But that
Hopefully.
makes sense because I like also run with like Gwen Jorgensen, who was on Bowerman, and she was like, everyone did Elise's workouts and
Mhm.
Carissa and Shelby's workouts. And like it wasn't very like individualized. And with Rick, it's very whatever you personally need. So
Yeah.
I respect that. So it's good.
Yeah. Do you like these speed workouts? Like, is it a nice switch up for you, or are you kind of looking forward to getting more marathon specific now?
The more I'm doing, the better I like them. Like at first I was felt really uncomfortable and I would get really nauseous running fast, but now I feel like I'm finding my turnover to get better, and like I'm learning different like form cues to run faster, and now it's becoming fun. So I would
Mm.
say now I'm really enjoying it, and I think I'll enjoy it for the next 2 weeks or so, but then I'll be ready to get back into the more like threshold type work,
Mm.
the grindy stuff, because that's what I'm used to. But it's
Yeah.
been a good break, honestly. So I'm enjoying it.
When you talked with Rick Ross initially about like your debut marathon and such, do you kind of plan out everything broad scale like right off the bat, or do you go kind of week by week with Rick?
We do a 12 weeks at a time, pretty much. So he'll do
Okay.
my whole next 3 months, and then we'll change that as we go. So like,
Mm.
hey, this is what the outline looks like. This is your mileage and how it needs to ramp, and then if there's problems that come up, we'll change stuff.
Mm.
Um, because now I'm like a single mom and I have a 2-year-old, like my schedule changes. So I would love to like race all the time, but I just can't. So
Mm.
I would say with me, that's what changes a lot is like my schedule.
Yeah.
Um, like for now, I think I'm doing the New Haven 20K champs, ND half, and CIM. I'm definitely doing CIM. I'm probably definitely doing ND, but like that 20K is kind of like, I hope I can be there.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah, we do. Yeah, he does 12 weeks at a time, like the whole build at once.
Okay, gotcha. And last thing I'll say before we go into a quick fun session is, um, I feel like I have to mention this. It's just so impressive that you're able to balance all these things in your life with having two kids and also being a professional. Well, you don't call yourself a professional athlete, but in my mind, you're a
One kid, just
professional.
one kid.
Well, oh, one kid. Sorry.
One kid. I'm running like 95 miles a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I have a coaching business and I have like 30 athletes.
Wow.
So it is hard to toggle it all. It's really difficult, but it also takes the pressure off performance. And I think that's honestly
Mm,
why I'm performing better, because in triathlon,
mm,
like everything was about performance. And now nothing, the fun I have in my life is my performance. So it's different now. And I honestly think
mm.
that's why I'm racing well.
So what does a day look like for you? Say a workout day.
Okay, so a whole day is I get up at 5:30. I do my Wordle. I drink breakfast or I drink coffee. I get my kid up at 6, get him ready for school, do breakfast, blah, 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 take him to school, drop him off at 7, right when they open. I'm at the workout by 7:15, and then we'll do like a 5-mile warm up. A set we do often is like a 1600 at threshold, and then 6 by 1K down to 5K pace, and then a 1600 threshold. Run about
Mhm.
12 to 14 miles. I run to a coffee shop. I work for 90 minutes. I pick up my kid. We go home. He sleeps for 3 hours, and I grind work. And then he'll wake up. We'll get in the stroller, and I'll do my second run, and I'll push him in the stroller. And then I hang out with my neighbors who have kids, and we like do an activity with our kids, whether it's swimming or we can take them to the bike park or whatever. I feed my kid, I do bath, we do bedtime, and then I work more, and then I go to bed. That's my day.
Man, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
You just make it work. I mean, it's fun too. I really struggle with just having like downtime, so I love it. I mean,
yeah.
but I just keep waiting to get slow because I'm like, my life is not sustainable. This will at some but I also have the weekends free because my um Wilder's dad takes him on the weekends. So,
Mm,
that's when I can kind of do my long run and kind of chill out and
yeah,
relax. So I do definitely have downtime on the weekends.
that's
So
good. You at least need a little bit of downtime.
exactly.
How many runs a week do you run your kid in the stroller?
Usually just 2.
Just two. Okay. Are those
Yeah.
like double days, just the workout days?
They're just the double days on the workout days because on
Okay.
the other days I run when he's at school.
Yeah.
So I do like 2 4-mile runs a week with him in the stroller. And I really think I got fast because of that, because you learn to use your upper body less when you're
Mm,
pushing the
hmm.
stroller, and you really have to engage your glutes, and like it's changed my run form a lot.
Hmm.
So anybody out there looking to get fast, I highly recommend getting a jogging stroller and putting some rocks in it or something.
Fully grown kid, just throw him in there. Throw in a
Yeah.
5'10", your 5'10" daughter or son. Uh, that's awesome. Okay, real quick, I'll just do this. So you have to choose one or the other. I just give you two options. So, track or road.
Road.
Okay. Uh, indoor or outdoor track.
I've never run an indoor track.
I kind of had a feeling you didn't run on one yet. Running hat or no hat.
No hat.
Okay. Tempos or speed work.
Speed work.
All right. Long runs or workouts.
Workouts.
Do you give kudos to almost everyone on Strava, or do you only give kudos to the really impressive runs?
I only give kudos to 50% of the people I follow.
Okay, 50%.
Yeah.
Uh, are you into more conservative racing or front running?
Front running.
Okay. Sunday long runs or Saturday long runs?
Sunday.
Okay. And training or racing?
Training.
Okay. All right. There we go.
Yeah, that was
We know
great. I
all we
love
need to know
those.
about you now. Yeah, I'd spend more time on the fun section, but we're literally about to get kicked out in a minute.
I
So
know.
that was an error on my bad, but I wanted to restrict the time because I often go way long and I talk too much. So I just wanted to.
Dude, I could talk forever. We can do it again if it's successful. After my marathon,
Absolutely.
we'll do one.
I would love to have you back on after your marathon, which
Perfect.
hopefully goes really well. Real quick, do you have any advice to all the runner moms out there?
Make sure you're eating, because it's really hard to remember to eat when you're like running around all day. I mean, I suck at that. So I'm
Yeah.
really trying to work on that for my marathon, because I'm not going to get away with it. I got away with it in the 5K, not going to get away with it in the marathon. So,
All right. There you have it, runner moms out there.
and drink some wine every night.
Yeah, absolutely. Need some wine. All right. Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Lauren, and I hope to talk to you again after CIM. Hopefully it goes well and good luck with all your training.
Thanks, man. Chat
Yeah.
soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.